As silly as it is, I've always had a soft spot for the various master gimmicks. Target masters are probably my favorite of the style, but I actually find Titan masters, to be the most interesting. It's a shame that the concept hasn't been explored further in stories. The Western take on the concept of the bonding of more than one mind into a singular being is fascinating, even if the Takara take of a smaller robot driving a transtector is more practical and easier to wrap your head around. One of my favorite characters from this concept is the Decepticon Mindwipe. I really couldn't answer why he's a favorite. I just recall watching the Rebirth a lot as a kid and thinking he sounded and looked really cool. So when he made his triumphant return in the Titans Return toy line, I was pretty stoked. Mindwipe answers the question, what if Dracula was a Transformer? Which is kind of funny since the mold was reused for an actual Dracula toy recently. In robot mode, he's not the most interesting silhouette, but he stands out with his little wings on his back, which brings me to the biggest negative of the toy. The wings, along with the actual beast head and some other bits, are all composed of this rubbery plastic. This is mostly okay, but especially on these back wings, they tend to warp out of shape over time. The sculpted details on Mindwipe are a double-edged sword. There's a lot to look at and like about him, but the dark purple and black make it difficult to see, which makes him a bit dull until you get up close and personal with him. That's when you start to spot a lot of the intricate details, blending the organic nature of his alt mode with the mechanical bits of being a robot. Mindwipe in robot mode is one of those beautifully generic-looking Decepticon troops, which I think is very fitting for the character. He needs you to be unsuspecting of him, because he is definitely going to scramble your brains when you turn your back. Transforming Mindwipe is where I really feel this figure shines. I love how the legs unwrap themselves like a cloak to form the giant bat wings, and I find it thematic that he flips upside down as part of the transformation. It's not a difficult conversion by any means, which is honestly right up my alley. More of the brown colors show up in this mode, with the beautifully sculpted beast head on full display, complete with opening mouth to menace his victims. I really believe that this is Mindwipe's preferred mode, as it's just so much more interesting. The wings can articulate here, and have an impressive span. The only downside, in my opinion, is how the robot feet just kinda hang off of them. Something I haven't really touched on is the Titan Master head, Vorath. As I've said in the past, masters of any kind aren't really that great as toys. They are pretty gimmicky and mainly work as a concept of play more than an actual individual toy. But as an accessory to Mindwipe, Vorath is great. Obviously, he works as a head, but I particularly love that Mindwipe has a cockpit of sorts in his bat belly for Vorath to sit in. Even my daughters, when this and the other Titans Return toys came out, found fun in it. Mindwipe checks a lot of boxes for me. As a fan of Season 3 G1 and beyond, as a bot that's sporting an underused alt mode, as an interesting potential story concept that could be explored, and just as an overall fun toy to play with. Mindwipe works really well, despite the overuse of rubbery plastic, and this may be the hypnosis talking, but I'm happy he's still a part of my collection.
Oh look! Another flesh creature that watches without subscribing! Seriously, it's so easy an Autobot could do it!